In this sport, you don't wait for judges to decide your fate. TenexToken puts you in control. Stake instantly, speculate discreetly, and keep your moves private. TenexToken. Play smart, play discreet.
Andrew McCart, IFLTV, delighted for the first time in a long time to be joined by Richard Torrez Jr. Richard, I spoke to you, I think, when you came out of the Olympics, my first and only interview with you a long, long time ago in Vegas. I think it might have been for Wilder Fury 3. But since then, you're 13-0, 11 knockouts, you're doing wonderful things. How have you found your pro career so far?
It's been good. I followed the game plan that Top Rank's kind of put forward for me. I've just kind of stuck to my guns and continue progressing. And I'm excited for where I'm at. I'm excited for the potential in the near future. And I'm just excited to continue to do what I love and fight.
Definitely. Now, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the heavyweight division, because here in the UK, we've got quite a lot of heavyweights, quite a lot of young heavyweights that I'm pretty sure that you want to get your teeth into, or at least get your hands on. But before we talk about that, you do have a fight in November, and I do want to get that out of the way and talk about Thomas Salek. He's a good opponent, solid opponent, been in there with some very good fighters. So, right opponent for you at this stage of your career?
I think he's a veteran fighter, never looking past anybody. And I'm going out there to perform and show what I have to offer. I do want the big fights. I want the best fights, but I trust in Top Rank's decision making. I trust in what they're doing, and I'm following the game plan. It's gotten me this far. It's gotten me to the point where I'm at today, and I'm not going to question it. So if this is who they want me to fight right now, this is who I'm fighting.
Like you say, you've got a faced opponent in front of you. You can't look ahead, because I do want to talk about the heavyweights that we have, the young heavyweights that we have here in the UK. But you have a job to do. This cannot be a banana skin fight. You have to make sure you go in there on November. I think it's November 15th. I think it is.
Yes. Yep.
And get the job done. Do you have to make a statement, Richard?
I think in every kind of step in your career now, it has to be a statement. And especially where we're at right now, because you're only as good as your last fight. And with the trajectory that heavyweights are going in right now, and how kind of volatile the division is of upsets happening and things going on, you want your name to be out there. And the only way to keep my name out there is to make a decisive and show class victory. And that's what I'm going out to do. Not necessarily going out there to get that big kill knockout, but to show off my boxing ability, my growth, and continue to show why I'm one of the top 5 heavyweights right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying to you right now. Like, the heavyweight division right now is on fire. You must be looking at it as a fighter, licking your lips and being, I cannot wait to get in that mix.
Definitely. No, I'm drooling at the bit, man. I can't wait to be out there. You see a lot of these guys that they're just showing off, and it's great to witness. It's great to see, and it's making a lot of buzz out there, not just in the boxing community, but just in community in general. And I think that's something that boxing really needs nowadays. This is just like getting back out into the public eye of wow, this is some really good things happening. And I think the heavyweight division is doing that right now, especially in Europe, and I wanted to bring that to the USA as well. And I think within the very near future, we're gonna make all those lines connect and have some really good fights.
Can I talk to you about it? I spoke to Dan Raphael, who you might know, a US journalist, and we spoke about the US heavyweight scene, and we spoke about the UK and Europe with Usyk and the Tyson Furies, the Joshuas, the Dubois, the Moses Itaumas, the Fabio Wardleys. Now, the US has always been, from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, has been a home of heavyweight boxing. What's happened, Richard? What do you believe has happened?
What I think the biggest thing is, and right now I'm actually at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, helping us out with some of the amateur guys, and they're helping me out with my camp. But I think one of the biggest things is the amateur programs. I think in the UK and Europe and in all these countries where they have the great heavyweights right now is because in the amateur programs they've really just shown class and continue to do so. You see Anthony Joshua, you see Fraser Clark, you see a lot of these guys that'll go back to the amateur program and help out their guys and bring them up. And I think that's something that was lacking in the USA and still is, of the professionals not coming back and kind of trying to bring up the next generation of fighters. I think the UK and I think Europe in general has done an amazing job of maintaining the Olympic programs and their amateurs in order to make these really good professional athletes. And I'm trying to change that in the USA. I hope a lot of these other USA guys will come back and train some of these amateur guys and get them ready for the Olympics and then turning pro. But that's what we need. I think it's a grassroots thing. I think the Europe has set a model that has worked in order to provide some great professionals, and I think USA needs to follow suit.
Interesting. Yeah, I might have to agree with you on that one. I've never heard an American. I've spoken to a lot of Americans about this, and they can't really put their finger on it. But you've probably hit the nail on the head right there. Um, but I do want to talk to you right now because obviously you mentioned Joshua and the Tyson Furies, Deontay Wilder's, Usyk's. They're late 30s, 40s going on. You're 26 years old. You've got a long time in this heavyweight division. And when you look at the young heavyweights coming through, and again, like I said to you, I spoke to Dan Raphael. I think it was when Moses Itauma beat Dillian White, and I said to Dan Raphael, "Who next? Who's next for Moses Itauma?" And you know who he said? Richard Torrez Jr.
There we go.
He said, "I would love because they're both. You've got the exact same record. You're 13-0, 11 knockouts. You're both young. You're both quite aggressive fighters, but you do it with style, if that makes sense. You don't just rush in. There's a method to your aggression, if that makes sense. When I was thinking about that, I thought that makes perfect sense. Do you agree?
I agree. I agree 1,000%. You know, I really do. You see all these guys that are calling out the 30, 40-year-olds, you know, the Joshuas, the Wilders, all these guys. Man, why don't we have one of these big fights right now? You know, you see everyone saying, "Oh, boxing never does it anymore." That's why the UFC is so much better because they're making all these fights. I'm ready for this fight. I think Itauma wants this fight. I think why don't we make it happen? You know, some of the biggest heavyweights in the USA, the biggest heavyweights in the UK, two English speaking countries coming together to make a battle. It's history in the making. You know, I'm more than willing to and able to do it, and I think it would be an amazing fight, and I think it really would put boxing back on that kind of pedestal, that podium, that where people want to watch it.
What would you when you've seen you've obviously watched Moses Itauma. What do you make of him as a fighter?
I think he's a good fighter. I do. I have nothing against his style or anything like that. I think he's a great fighter. He's quick. He's fast. But again, so am I. You know, like I think I have a lot of things that he has to offer as well. I think that Matchroom
Frank
and
Warren.
his promotional, Frank Warren has really done a great job. You know, building him up as a fighter in the UK. Man, it's time to cross over, man. It's time to see what we could do in the USA as well. If that means me flying over there, him flying over here, I'm fine with either of it. I just want to have that fight happen, and I think that would be a great fight for everybody. I commend his abilities, but now it's time to you know face the music and let's see who really has it.
Loads of people I've spoke to as well, and all these talking heads in America and the US, they haven't found a hole in his game yet. We haven't seen his chin checked. We haven't seen him go through adversity. Are you the man to do that? Have you seen holes in his game that you might exploit?
You know, I think everyone has holes in their game that they want to exploit. You know, I think everyone has some chinks in their armor, but end of the day, I think one of the biggest things that all these heavyweights don't understand is just the conditioning aspect or the level of that, you know, and I think that's something I could bring to the table. You know, you can have Moses be as fast as you want him to be in the first 3 rounds, but man, I'm a workhorse. You know, I'm a dog, and I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna be punching the same amount as I was in the first round as I am gonna be in the 10th, 11th, 12th. And so I think that's something that a lot of these heavyweights don't understand yet is just the amount of pressure I'm gonna put on you and the amount that it's gonna change the game. And so that's something I'm looking forward to bring to the table and show them, you know, this is what heavyweight boxing has to offer as well.
A lot of people might think and look at you as a young heavyweight and look at Moses and say, not yet. Wait till there's a world title on the line. But are you the type of fighter to say, listen, I don't mind win, lose or draw. We can get a rematch. We can make it 3 fights. Let's get the fight now. Are you happy fighting Moses now?
You know what the crazy thing is I don't really care about the world title. I just want competition. I want to prove to myself. I don't have to prove to the world that I'm the best. I want to prove to myself. And whether that's fighting the best guy tomorrow for nothing or fighting the best guy for a belt, we could do either or. You know, I just want to have the best fights happen. I want to show just who Richard Torrez is as a fighter and an individual. I want to make sure all the sacrifices I made when I was 8 years old to the 26 down weren't in vain. And this is the way to do it. The way to do it isn't by waiting and wondering when I'm gonna get this belt or anything like that. No, it's to make the best fights right now. And I think this is the best fight that we can have happen. And I wanting it.
Listen, that's music to my ears. I want it as well as a fan, not just as a media guy. As a fan, I would love to see that fight right now. Where would you like to have it? Would you like to have it in Vegas, the mecca of boxing, as they say, or Madison Square Garden, or would you like one of them very, very cold stadium fights in the in the UK?
I can't lie to you. I went to watch a couple fights in the UK, and it's something different out there. You know, the UK fans have something special to offer. You know, you guys are still like diehard fans for that boxing. And even if I go in there being the opponent, even if I go in there being the guy that you guys might boo for, the cheers and the atmosphere there's nothing like it. So I'm perfectly fine with going to the UK and having that fight as well. Now, if we want that fight in Vegas, I think that'd be a great fight as well. You know, it is a mecca of boxing, and I truly believe that we're gonna have fans out there for it. But for me, as long as the fight happens, there's only two guys in that ring, and that's all that matters to me.
Definitely. Now, like I said, we've got quite a lot of young heavyweights coming through. When you look at the heavyweight scene, though, right now, you said everyone's calling out the 30, 40-year-olds and whatnot, the older generation that's probably got 2 fights left. But when you look at the heavyweight scene, Torres, is there anyone else you look at and think, I want to be in the ring with him. I want a piece of him.
Man, I want all the UK guys. If I'm being honest with you, I think that Fabio Wardley fight, I think it'll be a great fight for me as well. I think most of these guys out here, because you have the crop that's coming up. You know what I mean? Like yes, I'm a firm believer that I'm the best in the US, and I want to prove that. I want to make sure that's a statement that I want to continue to have going. But I mean, you guys have a lot of the world class athletes as well. And I think I want to be the best in the world. I don't want to be the best in my town, Tulare. I don't want to be the best in California, the best in USA. I want to be the best in the world. And so in order to do so, I have to fight the best in the world. And you guys have the rest of the best in the world.
But a lot of UK fans might not know who you are, Richard, but you are an Olympian. You are a silver medalist, I believe. Was it Tokyo you won your silver medal?
Yes, Tokyo.
Yes, like I say, you're an Olympic silver medalist. You're 13-0, so you do have something to offer. You do bring an exciting stuff. I've seen a few of your fights. I've seen you fight before, and like I said, that Moses Itauma fight, I like it, especially for two young heavyweights. I think we're going to get action. But I do want to do a quick segue left and talk about the Fabio Wardley Parker fight. A lot of people are
Yeah.
saying there's a lot of talking heads there saying that was an early stoppage. What are your thoughts?
Fabio was throwing for the entire round, man. You know, and Parker wasn't really retaliating too much. I think for like the type of fight that was, it might have been a little bit of early stoppage. But again, Parker knows well enough that he has to throw in order to continue the fight going on. You know, he even though he was defending himself a little bit, he wasn't giving any opposition, and so I could see where the ref came in at. And even if it's up in the air like that, then you know that one of the fighters did something wrong, and that's all it is. You know, Parker should have thrown. Parker should have done something. He could have done something better in order to make that fight not a stoppage. But shout out to Wardley. You know, he got out there. Man, he did it twice now. You know, once with Justice, one now with Parker, and it's impressive to see. It really is, like, to have one of those guys that, like, because you always hear it in the heavyweight division where it doesn't matter until the end belt, till the final belt, because everyone has a punch. Wardley's the guy for that. He's the guy to show about that. We're talking about that. It doesn't matter about whatever happens in the first 10 rounds, because in the 11th or 12th, you can come out there and knock a guy out, and that should, like, that's his motto right there. And it's fun to watch. So I give it to Wardley, definitely.
A couple more from me, Richard. Usyk has said he would like to fight until he's 41 years old. That means he's got 3 years left in the game. Still time for you to fight him.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you like that one? Obviously, like I said, he wants. If you think Usyk fights 2 times a year, that's a possibility of 6 fights left in that he would like to have. So, I mean, you keep doing what you're doing. You keep winning, knocking guys out. I mean, boxing's a crazy sport. We've seen crazy things happen.
I would love that. I'm a firm believer in order to be the best, you have to beat the best, you know, and I think that everyone kind of follows that was the lineal champion of who beat the guy before.
Yep.
And in order to keep that going, I would love to have that fight happen. You know, I want to beat the best. I want to beat the best to show him the best. Because every time there's something else, if you don't beat the guy, then there's always questions. Is he really that strong? Is he really this? Well, what about back in the 80s? Someone would have beat him or anything like that. If you beat a guy like Usyk, man, you're validated. You know, you're the guy. He's the guy right now. And if you could beat the guy, you become the guy. And that's who I'm striving to be. That's what I want. And that's what we're working for. And so if I get that fight in the near future, I will not turn it down.
Well, like I said, you probably got to get through Moses Itauma first now. So my last question is, like I said, we've got some great heavyweights here. We've got Fraser Clark, Fabio Wardley, David Adley, Moses Itauma. Maybe Moses Itauma alone. Do you have a message for him or the rest of these heavyweights in the UK?
Let's show the people who the best is. I mean, we're all trying to get to be the top. We're all trying to make our move. We're all trying to be the champ or whatever. Let's stop fighting these old guys. Let's get into it. Let's have this little eliminator. Let's see who the best is, and then we can fight the best. Let's make it work. Let's get to the cream of the crop, and let's settle the doubts. Let's stop making these questions. Let's stop asking people later and having these people like, what if fights? Let's make the fights happen now when we're the best that we can be, and let's give it all we got. That's what boxing's about, right? To get in there and show who the best of the best is. I want to do it. I know you guys do too. Let's fight.
Richard, I won't keep you much longer because you've probably been on these Zoom calls all day, and I appreciate you having given me 10, 15 minutes of your time. But listen, for what it's worth, Dan Raphael would like to see the Moses Itauma fight, and so would I. So we spoke about this a few weeks back. So fingers crossed for you, brother. Listen, enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully I'll catch up with you soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much. It's a pleasure
talking
to you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Richard. Thank you.
In this sport, you don't wait for judges to decide your fate. TenexToken puts you in control. Stake instantly, speculate discreetly, and keep your moves private. TenexToken. Play smart, play discreet.